our channel. We are the co-founders of Be Limitless Global, and today we're going to bring you the 10 rules to success from Karren Brady. It's your girl Bex.
And it's your girl Carly.
And Carly's going to just do a quick intro to who Karren Brady is, and then we're going to get into the 10 rules of success. Let's go.
So why did we pick Karren Brady? Well, Baroness Karren Brady of Knightsbridge, CBE, was awarded her CBE for her services to women in business and entrepreneurship. She's the one of the most respected female business leaders in the UK and recognized worldwide. She's also the CEO of West Ham United Football Club, who are currently sitting 5th in the Premier League. I think she's probably most famous for being in The Apprentice, and she's reportedly worth $123 million. So
really?
She's crazy. So she's clearly doing something right. So that's why we chose Karren. She's somebody that we've looked up to for years. So we thought, what better person to kind of kickstart our series in trying to empower more women to really take control of their careers. So, should we get started? Do you want to go for hit number one?
Number one. The first rule to success, according to Karren Brady, is work hard.
Simple as that.
Simple and as easy as that. Look, guys, ladies and gentlemen, you may have been told that you need to, work smarter instead of harder, but really it does boil down to hard work, right? Because even to get to that work smart part, you have to have had to have worked hard, right? You need to be working relentlessly. And she says that self-discipline and energy are two key things that you need.
100%. And I think one of the things she talks about in her book about that relentless drive is doing whatever it takes to get the job done, staying up late. And unfortunately, that's what it does mean sometimes. It does mean not going to that social event. It doesn't mean forever, just at that time. It means staying up late in order to get the job done. I know I had to present a white paper to my senior leadership team last week, and I was up till about 1 or 1:30 in the morning preparing that because I knew I had to get the job done. And guess what? It was well received. Everybody agreed with the process, and we're going ahead to implement it. It doesn't mean I'm staying up that late every night, but I know that sometimes that's what it needs. That's what needs to be done.
And just off the back of that, right? I've just started a new role, and my progression plan is to get a promotion within the next 9 to 12 months. Now, coinciding with that, we've just kicked off our YouTube. So I'm having to put in so much hard work at work and then come after work and get the energy to do this. But guess what? Self-discipline and energy. We have to have the energy to bring to you, to show you that we're serious about this. We want you to work hard. You have to work hard. There's no other way about it. And not just that, make a decision. Yeah. Whatever it is that you're going after, do you really want it? Now, I'm working hard in my job. Yes, I want to be an entrepreneur and all of that good stuff. But I know how you do anything is how you do everything.
Absolutely.
If you are not going to treat your job like you have to make it work at your job. What do you think you're going to do when you're potentially going off on your own?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And it's
100%.
It's just
so many
I'm
people.
I'm a lazy person, I'll be honest with you. I'm a flipping lazy person. Naturally, I'm just a lazy person. And I've had to kick so many habits away because I want to be successful in whatever capacity it is. I want to be successful, and I know I have to work hard.
Absolutely. And I think the problem as well, especially in this day and age, people want that get rich quick. There's no such thing as get rich quick. There is nothing. I can't think of anything. People say, the lottery. Well, that's not get rich quick either, is it? Exactly. Most people that win the lottery isn't just, I'll just by chance going. They've been buying a lottery ticket week in, week out for years before they win the lottery. So that's not even get rich quick. So it's just, you've got to work hard. And ultimately, if you don't enjoy what you do, and unfortunately, a lot of people are in that situation, but what are you doing in order to create a way out of that? So you don't enjoy what you're doing, but still smash that job to the best of your ability in order to create the opportunities for you to then have the scenarios and the examples and the experience that you need to now move into the field you want. But 100%, number one, work hard.
Absolutely. All right, so number 2, the second rule to success, according to Karren Brady, is
confidence.
Amen. Confidence. Do you want to kick it off with the confidence one?
Yeah, so it's something that, so believe it or not, I'm actually naturally quite a shy person, and I am very introverted. So my happy place is I can happily sit on my own for days on end, and that's not a problem to me. It's a natural thing. But I would probably say what they call a situational extrovert. I've learned to be able to come out of my shell and be more outspoken and outgoing in certain situations. And it is something you can practice. You have to, so even like interviews, like they say, if you have an interview, practice in the mirror. If you can find somebody else to help go through questions, then absolutely do that. But if not, practice talking in the mirror, ask yourself questions and rehearse giving the answers. I know I did that, but the role I'm currently in now, I moved to it in end of August last year. And I've been with the company for 17 years and I really dislike interviewing. I always have, but I would always practice. And just so it becomes, so you get the question, you know, yeah, I know the answer I can give to that.
Not just that, think about the first rule to success, according to Karren Brady, is work hard, right? If you're working hard, that means you're putting in effort. That means you know what you're doing more time. Like, do you know what I mean? So you will just develop that confidence. And like Carly said, I'm a massive introvert. Like you understand, like together, we are wild, but we're actually big introverts. And you know what it is? You have to sit down with yourself and you really have to say, what have I got to lose?
Absolutely.
Really and truthfully, what have I got to lose? What's the worst thing that can happen? I remember when I was doing cold calling and I tell you, sweats, like profusely sweating. And then I was just like, what's the worst thing that can happen? They say no. Oh, well, do you understand how many people there are in the world? Like, come on, let's go. Just feel the fear and do it anyway. You know, even us coming onto camera, you may think that we're confident. You may think that, you know, we've got it all made and all this type of stuff, but it's actually taken us time to get to this point. And you have to sometimes you just have to force it out of you. You know what I mean?
100%.
Come into it, know what you're going to say, know what you want to do, and the message that you want to portray, and just try and deliver it the best way that you can. And that's really as simple as is.
I remember we were watching some videos back, well, you were actually, and you sent me a link to some of the videos we'd done in the past, and oh my God, they just not very good at all. But you can really see the progression from sitting down with a camera in front of us then to now. It's like, it's night and day, but practicing it, thinking, you know what's the worst that can happen? Who dares wins at the end of the day. And I remember watching, and it's happened a few times, I remember watching a Gary Vee, he'd done a session somewhere, and someone stood up in the audience and just straight away said, can I spend a day with you? Gary Vee said, yeah, sure. He couldn't imagine. He said, no. He'll say no. He didn't care about that. So what if he says no in front of thousands of people? So what if you don't ask, you don't get? And now look, you've got to spend. Gary Vee paid for him to go out and spend the day with him. So there you go. That's
crazy. And sometimes it is just doing it, just jumping in and just going for it, because at the end of the day, you will build confidence as you go along, because practice does make progression, right? Awesome. Okay, so guys, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. If you like our videos, turn on the bell notification so that you can be notified when we've got more videos like this dropping. It's your girl Bex,
and it's your girl Carly,
and we're from Be Limitless Global. Okay, let's roll on to the third one. Third rule to success is embrace ambition.
Absolutely. Don't be afraid of it. Especially as women, you get bad rap when you're so bossy and whatever else. Like, having drive and ambition, there's nothing wrong with that. That's the spark that gives you the energy that we spoke about as part of that hard work piece. don't be afraid to present your ideas and champion your career. I remember my last manager said this to me before, like, you have to be your own biggest cheerleader. No one else is going to be doing the fanfare, banging the drum. You might be lucky enough to have that, but ultimately you should be being your own biggest cheerleader initially. Present the ideas. If they reject it, it doesn't matter, but they can see you're somebody that comes forward with ideas and is thinking all the time and isn't just waiting to be given projects or, waiting to see what happens. Champion your career, go for it.
Absolutely. And sometimes you just have to take the first step as well in getting going, right? I did a video actually, and I did a video on cost of ambition, because ambition does come at a slight cost. What do I mean by cost? Frustration. Ambition can lead to frustration because your heights are set so high that when it takes time to get there, it can become frustrating. Why do you think a lot of people quit? It's not because they're not talented. It's not because they can't do it. It's because they get frustrated by their ambition.
Yeah.
So one thing I would say is make sure you push through, because ambition can kind of lead to doubt as well. Like, if things aren't happening straight away, it can be like, can I do this? Like, I know my goal is up here, but actually, can I really get there? All I would say is take action every single day, and don't let there be a negative connotation to your ambition. Just
Absolutely
go through.
Not. I know I 100% can relate to the frustration piece. Like, even now where I've started CrossFit quite late, I wish I knew about CrossFit in my 20s, but it is what it is. And then getting injured, and where you've got a goal where you want to be, and then injury gets in the way, oh my gosh, the frustration is crazy. That you're just like, oh, what's the point? It's never going to work. My body doesn't like it. You could so easily just quit on that. I remember when I was younger, when I used to do karate, and I was 10 years old, got my black belt, and then I learned that you have to be 16 to get your second dan. Now imagine telling an ambitious 10-year-old you have to wait 6 more years before you can even progress.
Yeah.
It wasn't long. It was 3 years, I think, before I was just like, I'm not waiting anymore. And my interest turned elsewhere, which is a shame, because I was good at it. But it is what it is. Life has a path for us, but I 100% agree with the frustration.
And just another part, I can't remember. I feel like it was you that might have taken me or somebody else. But I had, obviously, well, not obviously, but I play football. Still trying to play football at 32, by the way. But my body's not keeping up on me. But one thing that I've been plagued with is injuries. And I had a trial at Watford Ladies before. And you know what stopped me from going back to the second trial? I'm so ambitious, but my confidence. And then I got injured and I let it mess with my head and take away that ambition, like I'm not good enough. But actually it was just injuries, you know what I mean? Like, you just have to kind of push through, man, like, and just stay ambitious, embrace it, and go confidently towards your goals and your dreams.
Absolutely. Okay, so rule number 4 is
have courage to take risks.
Absolutely.
And you know what's so great is that all of these kind of feed into each other, right?
100%. I was just about to say it with like the confidence, yeah.
Absolutely. So you have to be brave, and my thing is feel the fear and do it anyway. So you have to be calculated in your risk taking, right? Because ultimately you can't just go and quit your job without nothing really in front of you apart from an idea. You have to make sure that you've calculated it, like have you got enough for you to take that risk or whatever it may be, and then just calculate the worst thing that could go wrong. At the end of the day, that's all you have to do. Like I said with the call-in, what's the worst thing that they can say? Nothing. They can just put the phone down, right? Okay, great. Like,
so what?
So did I die? Did anyone get hurt? Like,
exactly. No.
I mean,
your feelings.
Exactly. And the hardest fights are always the ones that are worth winning.
Absolutely. And like, before success is usually some sort of defeat, sometimes total failure. But so what? Find a way. You plow through it because you work hard, because you are confident, because you're ambitious. You continue to find a way, and it's usually the things that we don't do is what we end up regretting. So don't be afraid. Things aren't always going to go to plan. Sometimes, I think we were talking on the other video, sometimes you might end up, some people have gone completely bankrupt on their goals to get to places. But ultimately, if you've got a plan, you've got a process, you've got a strategy, you're ambitious, all these points, find a way.
Absolutely. And just on the success and failure, right? I read something the other day about embracing negativity, right? And think of it like is it a magnet? There's a positive and there's a negative side to it. So without negative, you can't have a positive. Without failure, you can't have success. Without dark, you can't have light. Exactly. They actually go
yin and yang.
Yeah, like exactly. They have to come in the pairs. So you have to understand that there will be days when you earn and there will be days that you learn. Simple and as easy as that.
100%.
Awesome. All right, guys. Make sure you're still locked in. We've got a few more that we need to go through. 10 Rules to Success by Karren Brady. And the fifth rule to success is...
take a reality check.
I think this is a key one, you know, and I think a lot of people miss it out just because they don't want to face that reality.
Yeah. Like... I think Karren Brady had a really good example in her book. She said, I love art, but I can't paint. So to think, some people go, oh yeah, but you might be the next Picasso and that. Yeah, but let's just be realistic about it. What stage are you in it? If you can barely even draw a stick man, the answer is probably not. Okay, so there are times, yes, let's be ambitious, let's think big, but also we have to be realistic in our visions and our goals. And just take steps at it. Find what you're good at and then start building on it.
And one thing I would say to that though, is that maybe in the beginning, you do need to take that reality check with yourself because you might not have the resources around you to go and get the people that can do what you can't do. That's another thing as well. Outsourcing. You know, that's what the greatest leaders do, the greatest the greatest people in big companies and all of that type of stuff. Do you think that they're doing everything themselves? Absolutely not. They've got a team of people around them.
Exactly.
So when you're taking that reality check, don't think that, I can never, have X, Y, Z because I can't do this one thing because my talent doesn't allow for it. Maybe you just have to go another route until you can get to a point where you can build your resources and build that power team out as well.
Exactly. You don't need to be good at everything, and you hire the people to do it, and you should be hiring people smarter than you. What's that saying they say? If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. 100%.
Time to leave.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, I tell you, I've just got a new role, right? And I'm not the smartest cookie in the room. Like, I'll be on, and it feels awful. I can't lie, it's not nice, but you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
Right? And when you surround yourself with people that are doing better than you, guess what? It forces you to get to that level. So I know that this is really uncomfortable, but in all of this uncomfortability, growth is happening.
100%.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Right.
Number
this
6.
is a good one.
This is a really good one, and I think it speaks to what we're doing massively, and Bex did touch on it a little early in the video. And number 6 is learn how to juggle. You've got your job, you've got your side hustle, you might have family, you've got friends, you've got hobbies. All of those things are obviously in our lives and happening. And it's finding the balance, but being efficient. So when you're at work, be at work. Don't get distracted with the phone, distracted with other things. Focus. So you know what, when that time comes, you can leave shift early or on time, not have to stay late. Do everything you can in that time. Right, once I'm done from there, take me 30 minutes to get home. Right, this is my time for this. Give everything a time slot. Being organized. Gary Vee, another person, really, really good. He does loads of videos on this about balancing your time. And unfortunately, sometimes there are sacrifices you do have to make, but ultimately be efficient with your time.
Absolutely. And just to add on to that, I can't, like, one of the things that we learned a few years ago is really chunking your days out.
Yeah.
So like you said, you block off that 9 to 5 if that's what you work, and that's when you're at work. And that's one of the things that I'm trying to get into the swing of now. Forget the phone, forget everything else. Let me work, because I don't want to be working till 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. I need to be doing my own stuff. Do you know what I mean? And so that's why it's super important to learn how to juggle, because you won't get away from it. You might be a parent with 2 kids and you've got a dog and the rest of it, right? You've just got to be able to chunk off your day so you can be organized, efficient, and get stuff done.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're at number 7. The 7th rule to success is plan how to win.
Absolutely.
Leave nothing down to chance. You have to organize, like we already said, you have to organize, you have to have a strategy. You've got a big goal, break it down into chunks, do and tick off. Have a to-do list, tick it off and work through it. Sometimes you have to just keep taking action consistently over time in order to get to where you want to go to. You have to plan to win. You have to know where your end goal is, and then you have to map it out. The how is often very difficult.
Yeah, absolutely.
The how is often very difficult. So you do have to spend a bit of time there. But if you ultimately know where you're going, you just take them small incremental steps.
Absolutely. There's a saying, fail to plan and you plan to fail. It's as simple as that. And Bex mentioned it, writing things down. It's such a powerful thing. This is why they talk about vision boards, visualizing your future. What is it that you want? Same as with your plan, write it down. I know at work, in our offices, we have whiteboards everywhere, and even like with the glass doors and stuff and walls, you can write on them. There's pens everywhere, because when you start putting stuff up, you map it out. It's mind mapping in front of you, and it's just so much clearer. So start to do that, write things down. Also, communication is massive in that plan. Everybody has a role, everybody has something to do, and everybody should be clear on expectations, what they need to do in order, what you need to do, what they need to do, all to achieve this common goal.
Absolutely. Cool. All right. So make sure you're planning to win. Number 8 is knowing how to negotiate. Now, I'll be honest with you. This is not a skill of mine. And when I saw this into this 10 rules of success, I was like, yeah, that's definitely something that I'm going to have to get better at. But one of the key things is know what you want and what you're prepared to accept in advance. So there's always the thing of starting high to go low. However, that low is like literally what you know that you want to accept, right?
Exactly.
You need to be resilient, relentless, and persistent.
Yep.
And represent yourself well as well, and be willing to walk away.
100%. Because people make deals with people, right? And deals should be fair. We should always make fair deals. But no, like Bex is saying, there's always a bottom line. At the end of the day, if it's not what you want, or that makes sense, be prepared to walk away from it. It is what it is at the end of the day. I think, again, statistically, women will always put in a lower offer than men for a pay rise. Unfortunately, it is. I don't know whether, maybe that's something we need to look into as another video. We will always go in lower, whereas men usually put in the high offer, know it's going to come down. We do the lower one, and then that gets accepted. But knowing your worth, be confident in your approach, and you're more than likely going to get it. Well, hopefully you would anyway. But yeah, be confident in your approach, and just take all those points on board.
And you know what? It's funny, right? Because when I got my first new role in Amazon, and I saw the salary, and they just had offered me more than what I was getting paid, right? And I was willing to transfer on the same salary, so I didn't even bother negotiating. Can you imagine? I just was like, yeah, all right, cool. But let's be honest, if that was a guy, more than likely he's probably going to put in another offer and say, no, I want this, and then let it come down a bit more. I don't think you're ever supposed to take the first offer, by the way. Ever. Like, don't ever take the first offer. Like, push back at least.
Yeah, and they usually say let them be the person to put the first number in, and then you work from there. But yeah, I'll admit I'm not good at negotiating. You know when you go when you go on holiday and you might buy something, like haggling. I can't haggle and I won't. I'm so embarrassed. They'll just be like, that's £1,000, please. I'm like, all right. I can't.
Nah, honestly, I'm exactly the same. Like, everybody around me does it, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, you're so cheeky. Like, but ultimately, that's what, man, life is there to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's, I don't know what I'm saying.
It's a skill that I know I need to personally learn.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right then. Almost done. 2 to go. So, rule number 9: graph the bottom line. I think you said, actually, you were talking about this at work the other day. Someone was saying it, but you have to teach. And if you are someone with your own business or in a business, you and your colleagues or whatever, you need to think like an entrepreneur. If this was your money, what would you expect? What would you do with it? So, for example, I know we have this as a process at work as well, as you should have a minimum of 3 quotes before you go and order something. You don't just research and go, oh, that's the first one, because I think we all do it now, right? We'll look around. I know I'm again, but I'm terrible at it. I won't go shopping and then go, I'll just check if it's cheaper in that shop. No.
It's never going to be me.
I can't. I haven't got time for it. I usually end up paying more for stuff than I should. But in business, it's so important to to think like an entrepreneur. When you're looking at your processes, where can I save or make money in this process? And we have business goals, and I know we have not worked very clear goals where there's particular performance improvements we're supposed to make year on year.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just having that small business mentality. And I think that, like you say, it's very, very important to do. I really do believe how you do anything is how you do everything. So, like me personally, I'll be honest, like I'm not a person that will take the mick in terms of expenses claimed and things like that. And I'm not saying that there are some people out there that do, but I'm a frugal person. Do you know what I mean? Like, especially when it comes to somebody else's money. But in terms of your business, you have to be that frugal person as well. You know what I mean? And it's like you said, it's just about having a strategy and knowing the financial model. What are you actually trying to get to? You know what I mean? Like, you can't just start a YouTube channel, for example, right? And just say, we're going to do a YouTube channel. Like, have you got a plan behind it? Is there a certain amount of followers that you want to get to by a certain time? And what are you actually doing? You know what I mean? Like, there has to be a plan with everything you're doing. So just know the bottom. We know we're starting at 0, right? But we still have goals to hit. You know what I mean? Because if you don't have goals, you don't push yourself either.
Exactly. You need tangible proof of your efforts. If you don't have a plan, you don't know if 45 is good, because you never had a plan. So you need to make sure you are measuring. And
that's a great point, actually, what you've just said, Carly, is that knowing your targets, because then you can measure your performance. And it's all about measuring performance, whatever you do, you know what I mean? Like, so if you know that you're trying to save or make £1,000 this month, and that's your target, well, when you've only made 200, you can be able to say, where's that gap? Whereas if you just say, oh, I made £500 this month, that's great, but you had no target, you're just going to always think that you're doing okay, but you're not necessarily looking at the ins and outs of things.
Exactly.
So yeah, definitely 100%. Know the bottom line.
Right.
On to the final one. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. It's your girl Bex, and with me I've got my girl Carly, and she's gonna go through the last one, the 10th rule to success.
Number 10 is, and this one is such a good one to round off on. Communication. Communicate. Communication always needs to be, and it doesn't matter what you do, whether it's at work, whether it's your relationship, anything. Being clear and honest in what you're communicating, managing people's expectations. I think one thing I always say to people, like especially at work, stop coming into meetings with problems or have one-to-ones with people or mentoring, and there's always a moan. Don't let people hear you moaning. No one wants to hear that. Your manager or like even to colleagues, be careful about who you're moaning to about certain things. Yes, there's always something that we're not going to be happy about, but are you offering a solution? Rather than moan, it's like even in the government, we could all moan all day long about what the government's doing or what this person's doing or the police are doing, but think about the solution as well. And I'd say that for work is such an important thing. And if you don't have one, go figure it out. Have a group together. Let's think about this is a problem. I'm raising this as an issue. Let's figure it out. Let's communicate it out. Setting up groups, brainstorming sessions, whatever it is. But be honest, be clear, don't moan.
And I've got on communication as well, right? Is that clear expectation and setting people's expectations. And my friend, he probably won't mind me saying about this, but he said he was gonna do something for me, and I was waiting, and then it never came. And then he said I should have just said no because I knew I didn't have the time. And actually, I would have just preferred that. And I've done it so many times. I say saying no is a skill as well.
Yeah, it is. 100%.
It actually is a skill. We always say yes, like we always feel pressurized or whatever it is, whatever is going on in our mind, we take on and take on and take on. But sometimes people will actually just respect you if you just said, you know what, I've got a lot on my plate.
Massively.
Maybe we can just park this, or if you find somebody else, or I can try and support on it, right? And that's all part of communication and setting those clear expectations, because otherwise you're going to stress yourself out. And you're going to be working all the hours in the world around the clock in order to get a piece of work done, which is probably not going to be like subpar standard. Like
exactly. And if you've got, if you've got negative news or bad news or stuff like that as well, you be the one. Like I don't like it when people used to do it at work a lot. Like, oh, talk to HR. HR will tell. No, you tell them. You're their manager. Don't palm it off onto someone else to give that. You really need to step up and do that. Like currently at work, I'm having to do so many interviews, and I hate having to tell people that unfortunately they've not got it. Oh, it's horrible. It breaks my heart. Honestly, I dread it every time I have to do it. However, every time I call them, I let them know the outcome, and I give them very clear steps on the reason of why it was no. Let them know all the good points. Let them know the areas where there were gaps or concerns, and help them in order to close them. And that's exactly what I always do. And it was. I remember when I first started having to give the feedback, and they'd be like, you know what? Thank you so much for that feedback. I didn't think I was going to get it, or it's really clear. And they're just really happy to be able to know where they can improve. So don't shy away from that. I still dislike doing it, but ultimately I see it benefits them.
And that's a great point. The amount of times that I've been told no for job interviews and have no idea why. Is it because I didn't come across okay? Is it because I don't need a little bit more guidance or, mentorship or knowledge or whatever it is? So yeah, that's amazing that you do that as well, because I can imagine that not everybody has that standard, not like to a high standard either. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into our second episode. And it's all about the 10 rules to success from Karren Brady.
And just to round this off then, everyone, Karren Brady, she gives a quote from Calvin Coolidge, the former US president. And it says, nothing in this world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful people with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. The slogan, press on, has solved and always will solve the problems of the human race.
Amazing. That's awesome. And I'm not going to comment anything else. We're going to close off our second episode right here. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you next week.
Peace.